allow the children. It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us call them hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo to do. Mayegun la wa mo la mo to do. Ọ̀rẹ́ ara lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live. Thank you so much for joining me again in this brand new week brunch time with Mayegun. Read the caption of the broadcast, the description as well. Share it just before you settle down. Rats to Nigerians to fight food insecurity. Go and cultivate vegetable farm. Tell everybody.
Lórí Facebook. And yes, lórí YouTube.
On to today's session, I do bring to you as well the fisticuff of the Ronukus and the Ronupiwadas. See, this LGBTQ wahala is actually so real. Right now, in Kano, they have discovered that even HISBA has been recruited for the campaign. A lot is going on. Thank you for joining me. Remember, read all the description, the the beyond the headline. Share it too. So good morning to everyone. Top of the movement to all of us. As you are joining this segment this afternoon, I want to say thank you to you, though, right? If time permits, we will be reading from our ongoing reading, the White Malice, if time permits. But before we get down to that, Nigeria, well, let's start with this. The World Food Organization, the United Nations have raised an alarm. The World Bank, they've raised an alarm that 85 million Nigerians are going to face serious hunger from September 2024. There are already over 40 million to 45 million Nigerians believed to be suffering from excruciating, that's a long word, suffering from the multi-dimensional effect of poverty. Most of them food poverty. So famine, because the terrorism in Nigeria continues unabated. Farmers are being killed and farms are being destroyed on almost daily basis, which has sort of reduced the food production in Nigeria. Generally, insecurity. But it has gone worse, that even if you bring the food in, millions of Nigerians cannot afford the food. So the solution to all of this by thiefnubu and his gang is to see how much food they can import so that they can share. In fact, some of the expired supposed contraband food they seized by their custom are being rebagged and shared as their own solution to reduce hunger. The terrorists continue to expand. Don't forget that. But recently, this Olori Buruku APC, Egbekegbe, they started promoting this stupid idea as another means of saving yourselves. Nobody can save you anymore, though. And if you are still waiting for the turnaround of economy of thiefnubu, you are likely going to die waiting. So their solution right now is that while they are trying to figure out what is the problem, Nigerians are advised to not go back to the farm anymore. They don't say that anymore. They are saying that you should begin to grow your own vegetable, your own food. Because even in us old rock, Remi Ahmed is growing the food that thiefnubu is eating, which is a lie. However, she put up a show, an NTA covered her to encourage all of you to begin. Because the shege that is still coming, even Apa shege no go cover them.
Located at the backyard of the residence in the villa.
When you see this image, you will think, now where them bury all the dead Nigeria presidents or people who are dead. So it's like they are using graveyard or tombs, right, to grow vegetable, but it's not. This is where Remi Ahmed is growing our own vegetable.
Located at the backyard of the residents in the villa, this small garden has been lying fallow for some time now. But it is alive again, receiving the attention of no other person other than the First Lady of Nigeria, Remi Tinubu, who now tends it as a smart garden. She has been at it for a long while now, hoping to make it ready for every home a garden competition that she is promoting to drive food security campaign in the country.
So you're a farmer now?
I'm trying to be, because we need food in Nigeria. I'm trying to be, and then everybody should try to grow something. So I didn't know what I can add to the State House. And I thought, a private vegetable garden would be nice, and that has very good health benefits.
Like every other day, she is out again to tend the garden. Her efforts are already paying off, and it is time to show off her garden to other women.
When you look at the first one we have okra. Okra is very, very good for the digestive tract, and also helps cholesterol, I guess so. But the other one is ewedu. Ewedu is very medicinal. All these are just things that have good health benefits. So for me, this is my own contribution to the food drive. So, and I believe that everybody can do it.
And it's very different. I don't think we've ever had anything like this, and the fact that Her Excellency is doing this herself, does teaching or leading by example.
I would say I'm in the competition. We have a garden just behind the house, and where we plant this vegetable called Hospital Tufa or June 12, and we have mint leaf, lemongrass, and scent leaf. Just a little garden behind the house, so when we want to cook, it's just easy. And mommy has challenged us to also help our neighbors, as a way of making sure that there's food security in the country.
Now that a garden is already green with vegetables such as okra, scent leaf, spinach, bitter leaf, lemongrass, water leaf, and ewedu, the First Lady is in a pole position to win in her own competition.
I'm appealing to Nigerians. You don't want me to win the 25 million. So get to work and, grow something in your house. And like some people will say, I don't have land, but they call it smart farming. You can grow anything in a bucket. Just grow something. And that's what. Do you have a garden yourself? Grow something.
Claire, this garden is beautiful. I wish it were mine. But we both know who this belongs to, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, since I don't have my own garden and I'm not making any entry at the competition, I can only hope that when produce from this particular garden comes out, I'll have my own share. Well, there's nothing bad.
What shall I say unto the Lord? Yes, Lord. All I have to say. Thank you, Lord.
You see the fooling? It is called peak fooling. So, in order to encourage Nigerians to grow food so that they can contribute to the food security, okay, according to their own math, if Remi is growing ewedu and okra, and Oples Uzodimba's wife is growing bitter leaf and lemongrass, if all the state governors' wives are also growing pepper, tomato, and all of that, they can do trade by barter just to cook. I don't know, like, then they encourage all of you. Like, imagine if, this is how they think, they said, imagine if 20 million Nigerians grow something that they are going to eat. Imagine the amount of food. About Nigeria till accident, but these are the guys that will continue to remind you. 25 million. I want to win it too. I'm already growing something. I need that 25 million. Oh. Farmers are being slaughtered on their farms. Okay? But let's do a competition. You will see how many people that will grow food. And that's the economy solution. With that, you don't have to buy everything. The price will just crash. And it is called voodoo economy. And yeah, it's a good idea. We used to have farm at the back of our house. Nigeria is facing food crisis. I'm talking about hunger. The food needed to feed a nation. We are talking about a constant production of tons and tons and tons of food. No be that tomato which they grow for the back of your garden. At least people have small scale farming too. We are talking about large scale farming. What is coming? People will be cutting themselves to eat. People are already eating grass in northern Nigeria. They're already eating grass there. So how many tomatoes will they need to grow? Ewedu and others they will need to grow. Who among you will need to go and grow rice at the back of your garden in a sack or inside buckets? People can't show though. No, see, don't get me wrong, but this is their own idea of how to save Nigeria from the coming hunger. Whatever you are facing right now, I've told you this many times. It's not because I wish that on you. I have people there, so I have family there. I have people I love in Nigeria. So when I say things to you, it's not because I wish it on you. I am telling you what these guys' actions would lead to. So, and from what we have found out so far, Boyoba, whatever you are facing in Nigeria right now, not just preamble, just like, an idea of what is still coming. This is not actually what you are going to face yet. The economy could, but let me use this man's words.
If
Tinubu wins,
all
of you are going into John. That is God has spoken. Just let it go live. Let it go live as spoken. Just we have said it. Let me say in English so that they won't understand. Okay, sir.
If Nigerians vote for APC,
we sink. We will in poverty. And the economy will be in shambles. If the government of APC continues, Nigeria will suffer extraordinary. I'm not in support of anybody. As a matter of fact, I don't vote. And I will never vote.
Forget about God said. There's nothing about God said in the whole thing. Okay? Remove God said from whatever he's saying. He's saying the truth. Whatever you are facing right now in Nigeria is just a warm-up. I've just been told that there is already fuel scarcity in some places now. And there are already places where you are buying the fuel, petrol, for over 700 naira, 800 naira in some places. And in some places as well, over 2,000 naira. Now, so you're going to come small as you are going to the next phase of the shege. But guess what they are using the money for? Here is what a tracker found. Let me first give you the financial health of Nigeria. Nigeria is sick. And there is no amount of bucket you are growing potato inside that is going to rescue you. Right? Here. Currently, this is from their own debt management office. Right? They say Nigeria is so broke that Nigeria is the money they borrowed from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And the interest on that debt, okay? The interest they are paying on debt, the money they printed from Central Bank, is more than the total money Nigeria is generating from VAT all over the country. Again, they said the revenues that Nigeria is generating from crude oil can no longer pay for the cost of salaries of ministries, departments, agencies as we speak. So they are printing money. Very soon, pensions will no longer be able to be paid anymore. You know, they are already dipping their hands in your pension fund. I hope you remember that, Abi. Anyway, currently Nigeria is so insolvent, right, financially, that it is just a year. I'm just saying, Now, they said that Nigeria's total revenue from oil, that's another one. All the total money Nigeria is making from crude oil. The one they are telling you that they are selling crude, they are producing 1.3 million barrels a day, and all of that nonsense they are saying to you. The money they are making from crude oil in Nigeria is no longer enough to even service their debt. So the revenue they are making from taxes, the money they are making from crude oil, okay, when you combine all of them together, Baba, Nigeria is in a hole. Right now, if you go to the website of Nigeria's budget office website, they no longer upload documents. They no longer allow people to download documents anymore. But you see, the pipeline they built in swindling you, squeezing you, and then asking you to go and buy buckets and begin to grow tomato and ewedu. Why the economy is, right? Take a look at this. In their 2024 budget, Tracker found all of this, okay? One, they said 10 zips under wrong MDAs in this, okay? So look at this. It's the National Mathematical Center. They were awarded 163 million to provide solar street lights in various communities in Eza North, Ishelu, also federal constituency in Ebonyi State. What is National Mathematical Center doing with 163 million? Building street lights in Ebonyi. Here is another one. 163 million to build provision of a comprehensive medical outreach. This one is a National Space Research and Development Agency. They are to spend 163 million providing comprehensive medical outreach to vulnerable men, women, and children in Awe, Doma, Kiana Federal Constituency, Nasarawa. Another one, 125 million, National Lottery Trust, construction and equipping of ICT centers in selected secondary schools in Delta Central Senatorial District. You see on your screen, here is another findings from their 28 trillion budget. Look at this one, suspicious allocations. Smedan, 5 billion. In procurement and distribution of official vehicles to selected traditional rulers in the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, 5 billion naira cars for traditional rulers. Smedan, right, is an organization that is caring for small and medium enterprises, business, all these nano or macro businesses. So all of you, where they do small businesses. Now the agency responsible for you be this. So now 5 billion to go and buy cars for traditional rulers. 4.8 billion defense headquarters, construction of 3-bedroom blocks of 6 flats. 4.8 billion. Here is another one, State House headquarters, purchase of State House operational vehicles, 4 billion. State House headquarters, construction of office complex for SAs and SSAs, special advisors and senior special advisors, 3.5 billion. State House headquarters, acquisition and renovation, rehabilitation and furnishing of State House annex, 3.5 billion. Renovation, 2 billion. Replacement of SUV vehicles. Add the 2 billion to the 4 billion or purchase of State House operational vehicles. That's 6 billion on vehicles. Now go on, Smedan, purchase of operational vehicles for security purposes across Oyo, Ogun, Lagos, Ekiti, Ondo, and Osun. Smedan is for small businesses, so 1.2 billion to buy vehicles for operational vehicles for security purposes. Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC also, 1.1 billion, training, empowerment, and logistics support for civil defense and local. You see, this is where the money goes, right? Here is another one. Capital project under wrong MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. Now, you are going to go to farm, okay? Why this money, including the taxes they are increasing, all of these are what the Kenyans are dying for and fighting for right now, right? Good, yeah. Capital project under wrong MDAs. Here is a construction of 3.5 kilometers. This one is from Nigeria Institute of Oceanography and Maritime Research. Construction of 3.5 kilometer Methodist Church, Ibuto, Eri River, 2.3 billion. Another one, Oceanography, construction of 3.3 kilometer Adeson Olu Road, Mowe, Obafemi Owode, local government area. Oceanography Institute, sorry, another one, no. National Serious Research Institute, Badagry. Road construction for easy movement of farm produce in, where is that? 3 communities in Southwest, unlisted, 1.5 billion. Smedan again. Smedan, 1 billion, 496 million, 300 million, 350 million, 400 million, 300 million, 200 million, 100 million. And the saddest thing is that all of this money, they are going into private pockets at the end of the day. Here is this woman that is being asked. She's been asked right now to come and account for 729 billion naira, money shared to the poorest people in Nigeria. But guess what? Here is part of the findings, because there is no record of how she shared the money, except the record of those she sent the money to their bank accounts for some ridiculous reasons. Here, there is a company called Silver Peer Technologies Limited. This company alone collected, if you begin to add the money, 169.2 million, 84 million, 85.4 million, 84.6 million. Now, when you begin to add all this money together, right, you probably will have more than, what do you got? What would you get? You know, probably you'll be having something over 340 million naira. This company alone. Now, take a look at what they were paid for. Being payment for emergency supply of palliative in Barode, Bodon, Honyo, Sokoto states. Being payment for emergency supply of rice and gari, palliative each at 50 million or so to Koshope Federal Constituency, Lagos. Again, being payment for the emergency supply of rice palliative in Southern Niger Federal Constituency by Yelsa State. This one company collected all of that money. And I don't know, maybe we should ask the people of these areas. How far with those rice? Did you get them? Gary and all that. Now, these are a few ones among those who shared the 729 billion naira. That is just a bit over a quarter of a billion naira just for one individual. But there is lists of long names of those private guys who kind of draw money and all of that. They call them suppliers, they call them partners, and the rest of that. So when Omo Beta Edu came, within just a space of 6 months, Beta Edu herself has already approved over 7 billion naira. The money was to go and review the register of the poor people in Nigeria. They share 7 billion naira. The money went into private account of individuals. Those are the people to put the register together. Where is the register? At the end of the day, there is no register. It is just the tradition that you can go back to the farm and farm. What about their lawmakers? One of them was on a channel's television program, okay, last night, or yesterday. And he was being kind of asked about the state of the country and how these guys are mercilessly, I mean, like ruthlessly, okay, looting and depleting Nigeria in the face of the hardship that they themselves can attest to. Oh dear, you need to listen to his defense. You remember the other day we watched one of them. We have brought you another, what do you call another APC, people destroying people, member, but it's one of those clowns making laws for Nigeria, supposedly.
For asking that question, and this is why, we've had conversation across board with some of these unions and all of that. The reference is always to the National Assembly most of the time. When government comes to them and say, look at the fiscal challenges we're having, for the demands you're making, we could prorata or we may not be able to pay or whatever reason the government will give. They come back and say, members of the National Assembly go home with humongous amounts every month and they don't know what they are doing as professionals in their own field, in their own right, with due respect to the National Assembly. So the question is the National Assembly sometimes sitting down to look inwards to ask themselves, why do people always refer to distinguish? Just hold on. Why do people always refer to us? Is there something you can do in terms of cutting costs of your own institution so that we can, transfer some of this money to attend to other issues? Just to be mild on this one.
Yes, thank you very much, my great brother. Look, we have 3 arms of government. There is the legislative arm, there is the executive arm, and there is the judiciary. Now, these 3 arms, they have their separate budgets. The budget of executive, that is where the issue of Minister of Education takes their own. That of the judiciary is where the courts and the other agencies under the judiciary takes their own. Then that of the National Assembly is for the legislation. And so our budgets do not interwoven. So what is due to the legislation will not be used as a sacrifice to the executive. And then the issue at hand is about allowances and salaries of SANO and NASU members, which is not embedded in the budget of the National Assembly. So if they're asking for what belongs to them, I don't think it is the National Assembly that will now use their own emoluments or whatever, either overhead or capital, to satisfy that. So for this, don't let us mix all these things together. Now let us go straight to the issue of NASU, ASU, and SANO. Then ASU had been maybe answered to a very large extent. Then it now remains NASU and SANO. So now let us sit down to talk to NASU and SANO with Federal Ministry of Education. So if there's whatever we can do to make sure that there's not going to be any kind of labor dispute, that is where we are now on this one.
The thing
so
is,
the issue of saying that
if I'm important, sir,
or a House of Representatives member, for him not to take a salary, that we have to use that salary to pay at the arrears for a lecturer.
No, distinguish. We're not missing. Just my apologies.
There are salary components. There are salary components. There are salary components in the budgets of the Federal Ministry of Education, which had been appropriated appropriately. And that
all right, distinguish. I don't want us to mix the issues.
And NASU people will now.
Nobody is trying to take your salaries. Let's be very clear.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Nigerians,
what are you saying?
Nobody is trying to take your salaries. Nigerians say that the National Assembly members, you're earning the money you're getting for the job you're doing is too much. It is time to scale down and cut costs. So let me ask you a straight question. Because most of them, no, hold on, distinguish. Just hold on.
Mr. Journalist, before you go on, Mr. Journalist, you are a journalist. Mr. Journalist, you are a journalist. Before a journalist can allege and agree and ask a question, then it means that you have done a great investigation. What is that money that the National Assembly members are earning that it is impeding the progress of development in Nigeria. I have not seen. And
so let me ask the question. Because let me just ask. Let me just ask the question.
Like I said.
Can I ask the question?
Like I said, please. Like I said, the 2023 budget and 2024 budget, the budget of the National Assembly is not up to 1% of the whole budget. It's not up to. And the National Assembly is an arm of government. That is the legislative arm of government. It is not up to 1% of the budget. And so within this budget, that is where salaries of legislators...
For asking that question.
Senator Nigba, no gree for anybody, Senator. No gree, may they use your salary, until the citizens will bring the bottle and the blow. They are the only people who can, who can deal with you. Any journalist where they tell you, say, make you cut your salary for Kalu or for judges, no gree. That is the state of Nigeria. We cannot use our house now. Go and ask other people to pay them. That won't be us. Okay? You have to be those who make the sacrifices. It gets worse. I'll let him finish.
And so within this budget, that is where salaries of legislators are. That is where salaries of all the auxiliary staff in the National Assembly are. That is where either the bureaucrats, the technocrats, the support staff of the National Assembly, which are more than 20,000 or 50, even up to 50,000. That is where that one is. And it is less than 1% of the annual budget of the Federation.
Okay, so Senator, if I'm a button so that we can jump to other issues. Just
that do the appropriation. Are you now saying that the National Assembly that is doing the appropriation is not entitled to an...
All right, if you allow me for a minute, distinguish, just hang on so that we can have a conversation. All right, I've been allowing you to talk, so you let me talk as well. So let me ask you straight questions. How much does an average senator go home with in a month? It's a direct question, so direct answer.
Yes, it's a direct question, and I will give you a direct answer. The direct answer that I will give you is that if I tell you it's 10 naira, you will not believe it. You are a journalist. There is Freedom of Information Act. Go and use it and find out and show the evidence openly to Nigerians so that no senator will come here or House of Representatives person will come here and deny it. That is the best way to get it.
It's not as if we don't have the number. You are the one that is earning the. No, it's not a.
Look,
it's not a combat. It's just a question.
If you tell me a figure, and I now dispute it, how are you going to...
All right, just give Nigerians a figure. I'm not going to say the figure I have, but give Nigerians a figure.
EU asserts must prove.
Your money is public money. We know how appropriation is done. It's a simple question. How much do you earn? Nobody's going to doubt your position.
When, my brother, when something becomes controversial, then the third party, which you are, the journalist, which you are now supposed to establish the veracity. You have to establish the truth. Please use that act, get to it, and just present it to Nigerians that this is what a House of Assembly, a House of Representatives, and the Senator earns. Not allegations, because at times.
Distinguished, I don't want to belabor the issue. I knew why I asked that question. I know the budget of the National Assembly. We know how these expenditures are done. I wanted it to. You are the spokesperson of the Senate, so it's within your right to help us understand the things we don't know. So if we don't have that information, which we do, we'll ask you.
Whatever you don't know, you cannot bring somebody, an offender, to the court, and you are now asking from that offender to provide you with the evidence.
There is no offender. Senator,
so since the National Assembly member
there is no offender here. I'm not going to divulge. So let's move on.
Assembly to provide you with the evidence. Is it possible? The evidence that is going to provide is going to be an evidence that will support his own story. So Please.
So let me just ask you a question.
That will not support his own story.
Let me just ask you a question, distinguished. I want to move on so that I don't belabor the issue. I knew why I asked that question, and I know why I wanted a response from you, but you refused to answer the question. I'm going to come back to it. But let me ask you, isn't it time? Hold on.
Hold on. To belabor it, please.
Hold on, no. I am the one asking questions.
Journalist. I want us to belabor it. I want us to rest this thing once for all. I want us to rest it once for all.
Distinguished, hold on.
The media people that can help us. It is you that can help Nigerians.
Absolutely.
That can help Nigerians.
All right, so I want to ask you.
Freedom of Information Act.
It's okay. Hold on. Distinguished, can you just hold on?
Write a letter to us. In fact, to the office of the clerk of the National Assembly.
Can I ask my question now, distinguished? Can I?
Nuisance, Lele.
That's what they do. You know, it's a simple question. How much do you earn? An honest question. Well, my salary as a senator, a ranking senator, spokesperson for the Senate is 57 million naira. But I can explain to you how I come about that. Because I have to pay this, I have to pay that, and all of this is, you know, that's an honest thing, right? You can't say it. They go so now. But people know. I expected the journalists to just say it and say, well, the entire package, your take-home package, including the recently increased 104% salary increase that thiefnubu announced. If we put all of that together, your take-home pay is 45 million. Your take-home pay is 50 million. Just say it. Now they were like going back and forth. It's a controversy. These guys increased their budget from 124 billion to over 400 billion themselves. You know what is called there is a commission. They call them the National Assembly Commission or something. They are those who are in charge of their, the staffing and all that stuff. They wrote the budget, and the budget was 124 billion in 2023. These guys changed it to over 400 billion. So far, between 2023 December and now, these guys have drawn more than 300 billion from Nigerian purse. They wrote it themselves. It's like blank check. That's why they won't say it until the day you go after them. And it's going to happen. I saw one Abobaku that Amidst wrote on my Facebook yesterday, and he was asking that people should come back home and join them to fight. I said that they don't give us small money where they give you again. Because recently we have seen that some of you, the Ronu, right? The sewage dwellers, as we kind of like to call you too. The Ronu that would always stand and defend these criminals, especially the APC. Lately, the suffering and smiling sufferhead wearies that usually jump here and there on social media, trying to most of the time deviate the people from serious conversations, so to say, right? Now we know that majority of you are doing that out of your politically motivated hatred. And one of you recently repented and came to public. Nobody will come to fight there. You will fight. thiefnubu and gang, they will destroy you. And those of you that will survive, even among you, the Ronukus, you will stand up and fight. Now, the guys, the lady, Awa, I told you about her, the one that reported bad roads in Ogun State, because she's partly Yoruba and partly Kanuri. I'm not 100% sure if that, okay, but she's related to Yoruba. So she decided to share the horrible state of roads of Ogun State. And people kind of like, it's true, it's this. Then the Ronukus decided to caution her. when she felt like, no, don't caution me. We should all be supporting good governance. Everything that is not, that is bad, we should expose it. We are the ones who are suffering it. They said, you cannot be criticizing Yoruba, any Yoruba governor. Because if you are criticizing this Yoruba governor, the non-Yorubas, they will begin to insult them. So listen, we know that you love Yoruba. Like, okay, that's enough now. Stop talking. And she was like, no, don't bully me. Don't bully me, Omo. They just told her that she's an agent sent to come and destabilize Yoruba land. Dubious Dapo was supposed to do his job. Everybody should kind of speak out and make him do his job. Which one is tribalism here? I'm also Yoruba. Say, no, you are not Yoruba. You are just fixed class Yoruba. Now so the Ronu fight started. So this is from yesterday now. It will like say the fight no go end. But the saddest thing is that this guy is said to be partly Yoruba, as well as partly maybe Kanuri or so, right? This is supposed to be between the Ronukus, the Yoruba Ronukus, as well as they are supposed Kanuri brothers or cousins. Wetin bring Igbo into it? It is similar to the ass lickers, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, all these Facebook bandits and then social media herdsmen that will come here and tell you whatever is going on in Nigeria is not the first time. It has been happening before. Let us just pray. Olori Buruku ni won dabi Mosheda, right? They are politically motivated. They are politically sponsored in a way to kind of like, but once in a while, so the girl was on Twitter this morning, right? And she was like, categories of people aggressively supporting Yoruba Ronu, lazy media aid of government officials, Yoruba nations agitators, closet bigots, bored diasporans, abroadians, people who have lost hope in life, easily brainwashed people. He said this, and the Ronukus have been going after her. In one of her tantrums, she went all out like this.
Meaning we are conquered already? Meaning politicians have conquered us? You too that they are paying 50,000, 100,000, set your conscience. Are you not wicked? Are you not wicked? Why will they pay you to malign somebody that wants to do good? Why will they pay you and you collect? Even if they collect you, you will systematically do it. Why will you join forces with agitators, Yoruba nation people, to come and say that you are doing Think Yoruba First? Why are you lying to people that believe in the Ronu? Why are you lying to people that are actually conservatives? Why are you lying to people that actually want to protect their culture? Why are you using that to tap into their bias to get them on your side to become fighters and protect bad leadership? Why? Why? Why is it that we cannot gather ourselves and do something right for once? I don't need to be doing this. I'm just always too passionate about it. I can't look away. I don't need to be doing this. Alhamdulillah, I don't need to. But when I see how conquered Nigerian youths are, I'm wondering, when will it ever be our time? When? Come on, Ogun State. They turn the whole thing to Yoruba agenda. People start believing them. People start parading it. People start saying it's true. I told these people, I said, do not attack me. Stop attacking me. They kept on attacking me. Go and look at the handles that are attacking. Link all their handles together. Why would they tap into you because you are Yoruba? Buhari, when Buhari was in power, I never said that we're from the same place. I was tackling Buhari. When I was tackling Buhari, some of them were calling me that, Hawa, you know that you are supporting Bat. Don't abuse Buhari. We're trying to get power. I said, I don't do things for anybody. I'm supporting Bat out of my free will. I believe that Bat achieved a lot in Lagos. He will achieve a lot in Nigeria, and I'm giving him my 100% support. If Buhari is failing Nigerians, I will talk about Buhari. I never answered them. Now that Nigerians are complaining, things are not working. And even as much as I do not want to really talk or to be a voice that is loud, it is now that people that are earning 50,000, 100,000 will now be fighting and bringing tribe and religion. Nobody has talked about fuel scarcity. We are all shouting Yoruba Ronu, Hausa this, Northerners against this thing, Igbos are against this thing. Why are you conquered? Why are you conquered? I'm just going to mute for some time. Please, I'll accept people now. Daddy of Joss, you can go first, please. Meaning we are...
No more peaceful protests again now. Because peaceful protests know they work. Yes, peaceful protests, you know they work. More turn out to one no man, more enter so scatter everywhere. More shook, waiting no good. More
Everything shook. So our is raging that because he thought thiefnubu achieved a lot in Lagos. He will achieve a lot for Nigeria. That's why she supported thiefnubu. Then the Ronukus are using their biases, their hatred towards other tribes to now draw the Ronukus to their side, Yorubas to their side, making them believe that when they speak out like that, with their hateful and hatred and divisive rhetorics, right, they are doing so to preserve Yoruba culture. Meanwhile, it wasn't to preserve Yoruba culture. It is to preserve the criminal politicians from Yoruba land. It's not about Yoruba. Awa found out and she's so raging. You know, take time. Awa was right. Awa is not Igbo. But listen to a Ronuku reacting. Just a typical Ronuku reacting. Ronu Nazi.
Outside part is the problem caused by the Igbos. The challenges we are facing right now, they were the cause of all these challenges we face today. But they want to insult you, they want to cut you short, they want to intimidate you. You cannot intimidate me. Me personally, nobody on this planet Earth can intimidate me. The only thing is I don't have the capacity to make some certain kind of decisions, and that is the only luck you people are having. If not, I swear no Igbo man will be in any part of the South. But I'm saying this I will round up with this, right? Yoruba people, you people have the numbers, you have the capacity. I wish I was from that region where I know that we have millions of people, and we are multiples in numbers, multitudes. If you people allow these people to gaslight you, they might come in different form. They might come in the peace form. They might come in friendship way. They might come in terms of education and anything. Do not allow them. A problem of a Lagosian is the problem of the whole of the Southwest. Make it a priority. The day you fail, the day they succeed in dividing you, because their access point is to divide you. When they divide you, they take you one by one because they know it's easier to take you one by one. You understand? In Lagos State, every Yoruba person should stand up. The Yoruba people know the indigenous people of Lagos. Stand up for the indigenous people. Say that indigenous people are the ones that will own the positions here. In the government, in every aspect, they are the indigenous people who own it. Stand by them. They need you. They cannot do it alone. They need you because they have overrun them by population. They need you for them to be able to achieve whatsoever they want to achieve in that state. Because that is what we are suffering today. We are trying to face our problem. If the problem is too big for us to face, I do not want other people to face what we are facing today. But by the special grace of God, we will overcome someday. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That one now from Edo State too. Hey, Martinelli, they around. Martinelli. Una the year una brothers, eh? You see the level at which the tribal hatred, politically sponsored, though, all of these things are politics. So, but there are people who kind of have been sucked in because they believe they are doing it to preserve I'm trying to preserve my culture, new. We have to defend we have to make sure that these people are coming for us. So these Igbo people, it's so sad that there are actual people who think it's real enough, right? That they live, they breathe, this hatred because they are so convinced. Some of them are watching me now. Well, Mayegun, you don't understand. Go and read. See, go and ask Azikiwe. Even if you know what Azikiwe, some of you will be like, when you meet the Igbo bigot, Igbo tribal bigot too, right? See, my brother, this is the first time I'm hearing a Yoruba man speak the truth. A bigot. He won't really agree that he's a bigot, but that's how to recognize them. When an Igbo man tells you, man, this is the first time I'm seeing an honest Hausa man. This is not the first time. He is a typical bigot to make you feel like, oh, you are saying something I like. I like that. And the same thing too, when you see the typical, what do you call it? When you see the typical Yoruba bigot as well, who can easily pass on that and say, you see all this Igbo and all of that, because to them, they have been so overfed with all this hatred. Awolowo don't die. Azikiwe don't die. You are alive today, right? And the most you learn from them is how divided or how they struggle to divide themselves. And you are doing the same thing right now, but you are not a bigot. So these guys who are sponsoring these ideas, they continue to feed. It's like force feed. It's true, Jare, man. We were having a chat with some of my guys yesterday. And somebody said, but Mayegun, let's be honest too. Hi. If you see what some of these things that some of these Igbo people are writing about Yorubas on Twitter, hi, it will take you a lot of emotional intelligence, this also and so patience not to react. I'm glad to some of you who have managed to keep your composure when you read some of these provocative things, supposedly from some Igbos, right? And then you just keep eating like, be like, see what this guy the writer say about Yoruba. You know what? I'll just kind of consider it as their ignorance and just block them. Oh, look at what this person is writing about the Igbos. You see, those who can compose themselves enough, right? Not to be provoked to that, not to be baited, to begin to say, I've heard things about Igbos too. Oh, I've heard things about Yorubas too. You can't say that thing about the Igbos and think I don't know what to say about Yorubas. You can't say what you are saying about the Igbos, about the Yorubas, and you think I don't know what to say about the Igbos, Abi. Me too, I have heard something. Now, because Nigeria is a place where, you see, this division is real. The criminal political class feeding from it, okay? They have devised means. You have them on the Igbo side. You have them on the Hausa side. You have them on this Fulani side. You have the Yoruba side. And those who are milking who are using that for their own political gains on social media, where a lot of people can actually be faceless, right? Where these trolls and betas are there. It takes an emotional intelligence indeed to handle it. Somebody says something about the Yorubas, and I know it's completely lie. It's a complete lie. I am to be provoked so that I can say something back. How dare you say that about the Yorubas? That's not how they talk. That's not how they talk, say this or that. But guess what you are doing? You are perfectly activating the baiting, the tribal baiting, the ethnic baiting. And it is working, That's why I'm talking to those of you who have the emotional intelligence enough to hold it back. No, you won't tempt me. Miss Satani. This post, this particular post I'm watching, I'm looking at, is a bait. They want me to react as a Yoruba man, but I won't. I won't feed the troll. This post is a bait. They want me to react as an Igbo man. They actually want me to say horrible things too. No, I'm not going to say it. I am not going to engage it. That takes an emotional intelligence, I promise you. They are out there. Anybody can say he's Emeka Chinedu. Anybody can say it's Adebayo, Adeyemi. And they can be out there for unprovoked. They will just wake up every morning and they will begin to roll out all these divisive, terrible things, that horrible things. And you'll be like, why? Why are you writing this? What is the end goal? What do you really want to achieve? I just want to make sure that Yorubas are aware I just want my fellow Igbo brothers to be aware of these people. Like, you want them to be aware and stay angry at themselves, while the criminals in Nigeria, from Igbo land, from Yoruba land, from Hausa land, Fulani, all lands across Nigeria, they are congregating and looting your common patrimony. So I see a lot too. I mean, if you're online, it's so hard not to react, Abby. I never really reacted. Yeah, some of them, you read them, you'll be like, oh, God damn it, what is this nonsense? Why are you writing? What is this? What do you want to achieve with this? They go on spaces, they go on there, they spew horrible, horrible things that you can ask yourself, what is the end goal? Why are you saying this? About these people, about that people, like to what end? It is to attract reactions and keep the entire space toxic. Since you can't talk to yourselves, how can you then agree and face your enemies and face your criminal oppressors? Tell me. So it takes an emotional intelligence. So those of you who have it, you are not stupid though, for ignoring things that are not true about the Igbos being propagated by those who presented themselves as Yorubas. You know, having that emotional intelligence to know that these guys don't represent the Igbos. These ones don't represent the Yorubas I know. This will never be the Igalas I know. This will never be the Jaws I know. Things like that actually does help. When you stop feeding them, they will die naturally. And that person they are trying to make you an enemy of that you will never talk to. I will never see me. If I see a Yoruba man and I see a snake, I will kill a Yoruba man and I will let the snake go. Why do you feel like that? Eh? I swear to God, if I see an Igbo man and I see a lion, I will first say, why do you feel like that? Have you ever kind of questioned it? Like you sit down and be like, except for all you have heard. Yeah, all you have heard. We all have heard a lot. Enough to make us say to ourselves, right? But why do you feel like that? Other than what they are saying. Because they want you to feel like that. Unfortunately, the Ronukus are meeting their match. We will continue to educate the people that these minute cretins will never represent the Omoluabis that a lot of people are so proud to associate with all over the world. So when I see the Ronukus and the rest of them fighting themselves that way, it's kind of, it's kind of a pleasure to bring them on. Another wahala that they can even start burning houses or even start killing people soon is this issue of EU-SAMOA deal, LGBTQ stuff. Right now, it has completely smashed and ruined whatever is left of a thiefnubu's image among this Sharia North. But the hypocrisy therein also stinks. Before they make this public, okay, this deal, LGBT, this and that becomes this controversial, right? Back in Kano, there's been kind of an NGO, not just one, not two, there are a few of them already providing the support, counseling, and what do you call it again? All the kind of support they could give to the vulnerable people who are homosexuals. But I want to recruit to, what do they call those people? HISBA police. HISBA officers, where they caught people here because they do dread. Those ones where they arrested people because they are watching a football match or something like that. Those who are arresting and jailing people because they posted something on TikTok and all that, right? They recruited them to help sensitize the people why they should not discriminate against the people because of their sexual orientation. So where is all of this we no go agree coming from if it's already taking place in Kano? Okay, listen to this.
My first time of being in a situation like this, that first one was very, very shocking in a way. But as of this time around, I feel I'm dealing with my sisters and I'm dealing with my brothers. So that is it. Good morning. My name is Remi Ahmed Tinubu. I live in Kano. I'm from Kano, and I work with Kano State Hisba Board. So as a medical officer, and I'm heading the unit as well. Yes.
Okay.
I've been.
Okay. And from that experience and this experience, what are the things that stood out to you?
My first time of being in a situation like this, that first one was very, very shocking in a way. So I just feel free now that this is my second time.
Yeah.
I think you understand. So that first time was in Abuja, so I couldn't even feel free for the first time. So, but getting closer to LGBTQ persons, so I later realized that there are people like me and they are human like me. So, but as of this time around, I feel I'm dealing with my sisters and I'm dealing with my brothers. So that is it. Yeah. See, the reports are excellent. Why? Because, you know, just as I said, we are all human. I think you understand. So, and we need equal treatment, and this is exactly where the problems comes in. When you have two children and you decide that you treat one bad and treat the other one with good side of it, so you see that there must the gap and the differences will show, and you are putting injustice in your family. I think you understand. So the issue of LGBTQ persons in Nigeria, at least they're supposed to be handled the way they handle other community people. And I believe the report is always the same. How are these people has to be carried along with other individuals and other Nigerians. So the result is excellent. I can't go this way.
Nigeria.
Yeah, I believe so. Why? Because just as I said, we are all Nigerians and we need equal treatment and backup.
Sure.
So I believe with this advocacy now, our lawmakers has to think about the law passed before, and if there's any need of amendment, they should think over it. I think you understand. So the organizers, I'm thanking the organizers of this program for making it possible for me as a Hisba representative to be here. There are many other organizations. You see that none of them were here, but Hisba is recommended because they know the importance of Hisba and they know the works of Hisba. I think you understand. So it's a very big achievement, and I'm very, very proud and great.
I think that it's very important to keep questioning some things that we have been told. You know, some are norms, some are things that, you know, we just found and we just went with it. So it's difficult for us to just hear things and swallow and decide that it's right. For me now, I think that the world has lost its humanity. They've lost it. We've lost it. If you can stone a human being because they say it's lesbian or gay or bisexual or trans or intersex, you are sick. Something is wrong. Because for me, it is first humanity.
I know there are so many of us who probably feel uncomfortable because of your religious and cultural, traditional, this or that. But there are some things you need to know as well. Pretending that there are no gays in Nigeria, okay, is actually not going to make it like, yeah, there are no gays in Nigeria. Having the mindset to say, oh, yeah, they always, you know, you attack anybody that says it's gay, we attack them and the rest of that. Again, that too will never also let people who are homosexuals disappears. They are there. They're just going to have to be operating under the radar. They are your brothers. They are your sisters. They are our brothers. They are our sisters. I put it that way because they are mostly people you know who have been able to hide it from you for so long. And I'm not here to tell you how, whether, I don't really want to talk about how you feel alone. I'm talking about their existence. They exist. So, and I'm not providing any solution or whatever about that. I'm just saying that there are those who have already built capital around that. The number of the homosexuals in Nigeria that are now coming out is increasing. So you see that to fiaka that we will always do, God forbid, and all of that stuff. All of that will not make their existence, right, disappear. They exist. And I have to tell you, in their millions. Some of them will tell you they are bisexuals. They have sex with men, they have sex with women. But out of what somebody's sexual orientation is, okay? These are like normal people like yourself, like me, like you. So now, the conversation around their rights and all of that stuff should, in my own opinion, it's like a human rights without having to put too much emphasis on it. Because of the sensitivity of it in a country like Nigeria. And that too, there are many Nigerians that don't care what is your sexual orientation, sincerely. There are many Nigerians. Nobody really cares whether you are gay or you are this or that, no. As long as you do not make passes at them when you know they are straight. Sure, you understand me now? So all this old condition of how to economically support a country hinged on the LGBT this or that and becoming the point of controversy, which is deliberate, kind of makes it more unacceptable to a lot of people. Even talking about it to some people is like, this is 2024. Denying their existence will never make it true. They exist. And there's no point in trying to kind of let people admit that they are humans too. And their sexual orientation is the least of anything. It's like me and you. Shana sex, you they think all day. For example, I am straight. I don't know about some of you too, right? I'm just saying, like, you are straight. There are so many other things you want to think about your life every day. You've got so many things to worry about. And sex is the last of it. But when we talk about this LGBT stuff, right? Or more, now that sex, go, they first go into. And I know that is what has fucked many people's mind up. And it became more unacceptable enough that putting so much searchlight on it the way they are doing right now is not helping that community. It is actually putting a target on their back. They want to turn us to gay. No, they are not turning you to gays. Not turning you to homosexuals. You already have homosexuals there. There are some of you who will probably kill if you have a chance. There are rich ones that you can't even touch. So proper education without making it the highlight of why they want to give money to Nigeria would have saved a lot. But you just heard that there. Hisba board health officer is gay. He now knows better, he says. He said people like me, with this, that's what they look like. They are humans like you. I don't understand that level of hatred because of their sexual orientation. I know I'm kind of sounding somehow to some of you, right? I disagree with that. Don't say that in public, Alaye. Disagree with what is that's some level of phobia that is so unnecessary. And that is why, for a country like Nigeria, emphasis on it the way they are doing shouldn't even advise. thiefnubu shouldn't have even touched anything like that. But the hypocrisy too. Eh? The hypocrisy of people who are like, in fact, somebody said most of the people who are so cringy about homosexuals, right? So many of them are pretty much homosexuals too, who are hiding it. We've seen a lot of, I am trying to make you understand something, that denying something, denying the existence of something will never actually make it true. Whenever it is, especially when it is real. They don't teach people to be homosexuals. I have kind of, from all the researches, so they know they teach you. You just have to kind of follow your feelings, as they say, without making it a ritual disorder. But if the law in Nigeria says it is a crime, that simply means they are vulnerable, they are not protected, and they will be jailed 14 years if they openly practice it. So why poke the bear? But again, the gay community, like I said, which some of them are watching me too, all right? They probably feels like it is a fight that needed to be fought anyway. Last, they will need to be given that the right that, if you harm them, if you touch them, you will be the one to go to jail, not them. Okay? If you see them, if you see anyone, like you have pedophiles, like you have rapists, as normal people, you say normal people, straight people, right? So if anybody commits any sexual violence because of their sexual orientation, they go down for it. There are so many things to occupy your mind with, but Nigeria, especially a place where they said, the reasons why our forebearers, this is why they had so many children, was because there were not many distractions, not many entertainment to take the mind of our grandparents away and get them busy. So the only exercise they had was just sex. So most of us who are descendants of these generations, right? It is almost unimaginable to now imagine having sex with the same sex people, right? But there are so many things to distract your mind right now. Leave sex out of it for now and face that. There are more challenges though, right? I'll leave that one there and go to the next one. Talking about challenges. Somebody felt so strong enough that they decided to just kind of offer. I won't use the word that will kind of trigger some level of, oh, you know what, remove it. So this one happened in Abuja.
The only person who will give the best advice to the president of Nigeria, Remi Ahmed Tinubu, and his team. By staying alive, you can come up with ideas. We have seen your cry, your plight, all that you have written. On the ground here, we have federal government well represented. The FCT administration is well represented. The press are here to make sure this message goes viral. It will go down to the grassroots. It will get to the federal government, to get to the president's table. We have made the phone number so we can communicate with you directly and in the language you will understand. But for this simple act of sacrificing your life, that simply shows how much you care for this country. You are a true citizen of Nigeria. Please, we want you to know that we love you, your family loves you. We don't know members of your family. We would have invited them here to come and talk to you. How will you feel if you have children, you have a wife, you have a father or a mother, and you want to abandon them and go away? No man is an island. You cannot say you are helpless or you are useless. No. Everybody can make an impact. And this is the way
It's a tough one. So there is a young man who feels like Shege is too much, Jare. We cannot follow if we follow this Shege reach December. That's why he go up there. And I hope he has come down now. Okay, so that's them trying to encourage him and all of that. We love you. We love you. Yesterday, the Boko Haram have been a swap terrorists. They kidnapped the former NLC chairman in his house in Kaduna. That same yesterday, the same Fulani terrorists, another set, Fulani terrorists, they kidnapped the Nation newspaper journalist and his family. They are now asking for 300 million. I think they've killed him though. No, I think so. And they are like saying they're going to kill the children. So, this past weekend though, why some of you were probably like, when you were so worried about how you looked at the Owambe that weekend, so many families were in mourning mode. Same thing yesterday too. Black Sunday, they call it, Ezeagu in Enugu State. I had to cut off some part of this video because I can't show you the bloody, the shattered face of the victim of this Fulani terrorist attack in Enugu yesterday. But watch.
Akwa na ama nshodo go meku atufukwa na ayo ndị Fulani atufukwa ai bai asno ndị Fulani mere ni ahụrụ ha kolokolo na anya na ebo ha atufukwa na ama nshodo ndị bụ na euti na ekwe ni onye makwala ama nshodo ndị bụ na euti ndị Fulani atufukwa ai bai na ekwe ni
ọ bụ na ha kana na atakwara iru dobi otu na agbu ya. But that's the naked kidnap government now. Only people security about the go there. Any security about the go.
What a black Sunday. What a black Sunday. What a black Sunday. Noble men who watch our kids hand a letter. Double cross on however, but which what a black Sunday. Look at what is going on at Hilltop. All the ego. Everybody's in pain. Everybody's in tears. Federal security, security, just look at what is going on here. Look at they go do. They show Banda. We share so many of them.
I had to cut it off from there because the next part of that video is just well, it is what it is, they will say. The survivors of yesterday are today's victims. And all of us will go survive today. We are potential victims of tomorrow. And if we survive tomorrow, as long as we live, as long as this contraption exists, we are just a victim waiting, or a disaster waiting to happen, or a victim waiting. So you have to speak up before it becomes something that you can no longer speak. Can be. Anyway, let's stop by in Edo, where the Edo people continue to call out Obaseki when it comes to the road infrastructure in the states. A disaster.
Just take a look at the flood. Everywhere is flooded. Everywhere is flooded. A pastor bears a song. Video front of this Apostle Johnson Suleiman Church. Look where the tire of the trailer. Just the front here. Just take a look. I'm always thinking take a look at the flood. See how see. When you have a faith government. So Edo State is flooded. A pastor bears a song.
So we hope he sees that, and then he's able to help Una before the election in November, I think. Right, that is me giving you the snippet of what I have managed to pick up from left, right, and center, and all over the place this afternoon. So the other part of this chat is going to be reading from the White Malice. So I'm going to read from chapter 17. So I think it's good that we are kind of reading this chapter by chapter. I think chapter 17 is next. I'm going to first take a break. Okay. So when I come back, to those of you who are going to stay back and listen, great. To those of you who have to leave, also great. Just make sure you like the broadcast before you go. Okay. As for everyone who didn't get notification that MAYEGUN is live, they started, I know. Remember, you don't need to subscribe, unsubscribe, like unsubscribe and subscribe. You don't have to. Go to your notification, that bell, beside the subscribe. Go to that your notification, tap it, check the setting. If it says all videos or all things that MAYEGUN put up, you want notification, it should be there. Tap it and put the setting on. You won't miss much. So I will be back. And yes, I'll read for a few minutes and I will take calls. We can call it a noon. So thank you so much, though. Don't go anywhere yet.
Disable, Akishete, Atisete, Atin Parotipe, Atisete, Tito, Dimo, Dodo, Sima, Atisete, Odisete, Kagwa de Falare, Atisete, Kagwa de Falare, Atisete, Adajo,
Thank you so much for still being here. Thanks to those who are still here. So now I'm going to continue the White Malice, chapali, and then we will likely take calls if we have that much time. Right? Thank you so much. So I'm continuing from chapter 17, and this is Esinowa snobs Lumumba. Now, you know that we have gotten to the part where Belgian Congo, was independence, right? And also, we've gotten to the part where Lumumba's fate was already sealed. He was to be removed or killed. And I think that's going to be the chapter we are getting to now, right? And there is actually something that I picked up based on what is happening in this Burkina Faso, right? Where the Americans are now coming back. They said they are returning back to Africa. And Burkina Faso seems to be the new independent country of Africa that they believe suits their Traore's leadership suits their belly. So let's go on. So for Lumumba, it was an urgent priority to consult with Secretary General Amidst, and his senior advisors at the United Nations in New York. On 22nd July 1960, he left the Congo en route to the US with 14 ministers and political leaders. They flew on a Ghanaian plane to Accra which was their first stop. Ghana had become a nation of huge significance to Lumumba ever since the 1958 All-African People's Conference, which had transformed his political life so completely. A huge welcome awaited him. So many thousands of people were waiting on the airfield that the pilot had concerns about how to land safely. The Congolese Prime Minister spent 2 hours in discussions with President Nkrumah, who greeted him with real affection and pleasure. In many ways, Nkrumah had become a father figure to the younger man. It was a close personal relationship as well as a profound political alliance. Now, Nkrumah gave Lumumba advice on his forthcoming visit to the United Nations. When Lumumba arrived at the New York's International Airport on 25th July, he was met with a 19-gun salute as a foreign head of government. He was then escorted at once to the United Nations, where he was received by Amidst with warm words of welcome. The Congolese delegation stayed at the Barclay Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, where Thomas Kanza and Congo's ambassador to the United Nations was already staying. The Kenyan trade unionist Tom Mboya had arrived at the same hotel the day before Lumumba. The two men had established a friendship at the All-African People's Conference, and now, meeting in New York, they were able to discuss their memories of the conference in Kiswahili, a language they shared, but they had moved sharply apart politically. Mboya was increasingly pro-Western and operated in the shadows of the CIA, while Lumumba remained firmly committed to Pan-Africanism and non-alignment. Mboya had gone to New York to attend a one-day conference called the Quest for Higher Education in East and Central Africa, convened by Thel Stokes, an American non-profit foundation. It was hoping the conference would support efforts to airlift several hundred East and Central African students to the US, for whom college places and financial aid were available. Among those present at the conference were representatives of the CIA-backed African American Institute and the American Society of African Culture, AMSAC. The Airlift Africa Project, as it was called, had already brought a number of African students to study in the US, including Washington Okumu from Kenya. In 1962, it will bring Barack Obama Sr., the father of former President Barack Obama. The project was underwritten by the Kennedy Foundation and the African American Students Foundation, of which Mrs. Ralph Bonche was a director. The actor Sidney Poitier, and the baseball player Jackie Robinson, who was the first African American to play in Major League Baseball, all gave time and funds to the foundation in their wish to support the education of young people in Africa. But Airlift Africa was more than simply a project to educate young people. It was linked to the CIA as a ship-dipping project intended to groom future pro-American leaders of newly independent English-speaking states in Africa. Okumu, as someone who wanted very much to become a leader of his country, was the kind of candidate who fitted the bill perfectly. There was growing suspicion by now in Kenya. the US, and elsewhere that Umboya was working for the CIA, which triggered concern about the Airlift Africa project. Opposition to the project was also increasing in the British colonial government of Kenya on the grounds that it was an amateur endeavor that was diverting students from education in Kenya and Britain. Along with other UN ambassadors from Africa, Thomas Kanza and Alexander Kwesin-Sake, Ghana's UN ambassador, who in 1964 became the first Black African to serve as president of the United Nations General Assembly, took Lumumba under their wing during his trip to New York. Lumumba met with Amidst and his closest advisors on 3 consecutive days, 24th, 25th, and 26th July 1960. On one of them, Amidst hosted a lunch for Lumumba and members of the Security Council. Lumumba put pressure on the United Nations Secretariat and the Security Council to push the Belgian troops out of the Congo and also to dispatch United Nations troops to Katanga. He believed that the democratically elected government of the Congo, which he led as prime minister, was faced with a severe and urgent threat. He was keenly disappointed when he was told that the United Nations had to rely on negotiation to get into Katanga, not on force. The issue of Katanga's secession was a complex one for the United Nations. Thomas Kanza was grimly aware that the British government gave theoretic and verbal support to the United Nations action and its refusal to accept the secession. But at the same time, the nation did nothing to stop bankers and businessmen who wanted to collaborate with the Belgians from safeguarding their interests through the survival of their political pawns in Katanga. Much the same was true for the US. It is clear, observed David Gibbs in the Political Economy of Third World Intervention, that the SNOA administration was nearly unanimous in its support of Katanga. On 25th July, the National Security Council met in President Esinowa's summer residence in Newport to discuss the Congo. John McCone, chairman of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, told Esinowa and his senior advisors that the Congo was no longer considered an important source of uranium for the U.S. At the same meeting, Allen Dulles expressed serious worry about the activities in the Congo of Louis Edgar Detwiller, an American businessman who had attempted to establish profitable business arrangements to exploit Africa's valuable resources. In 1952, Detwiller and Dr. Horace Mann Bond, the president of Lincoln University, had tried but failed to interest Nkrumah in a huge project hinting at U.S. financial backing. Detwiller had signed a 50-year contract with Lumumba to develop the Congo's mineral, oil, gas, and hydroelectric power resources. However, Lumumba retained the option of annulling the contracts, and in any case, it still had to be approved by Parliament. Lumumba's agreement with Detwiller had been made openly. When Lumumba had flown to Accra on the first leg of his journey to New York, Detwiller accompanied him. Ghana's Daily Graphic reported on 23rd July that Lumumba had arrived with Mr. Edgar Detwiller, an American businessman with whom he had signed a financial and technical agreement yesterday for developing the Congo. At midnight on the 26th July, the day after the meeting of the NSC, Henry Cabot Lodge, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, reported that he had called on Lumumba at his hotel to warn him against Detwila. Lumumba explained that he had believed that Detwila enjoyed State Department support. Lodge then told him that there were all kinds of Americans, good and bad. He urged Lumumba to talk with Ambassador Timberlake whenever he needed information about individual Americans. The contract with Detwila did not go ahead. But because of the Detwila episode, Herbert Weiss observed, America's opinion of Lumumba fell even lower. It was thought, this guy is a total nut. He sells his country's resources to a crook. Lumumba decided to use his visit to the US to go to Washington, D.C. It was agreed with American officials that he would go to the capital on 27th July when he would meet with President Eisenhower and Secretary of State Christian Hatter. But as it turned out, he met only with Hatter and Under Secretary of State Douglas Dillon. Their response to Lumumba was intensely hostile. According to Dillon, Lumumba seemed to have an irrational, almost psychotic personality. When he was in the State Department meeting, either with me or with the secretary in my presence, said Dillon, he would never look you in the eye. He looked up at the sky, and a tremendous flow of words came out. He spoke in French, and he spoke it very fluently. And his words didn't ever have any relation to the particular things that we wanted to discuss. You had a feeling that he was a person that was gripped by this fervor that I can only characterize as messianic. He was just not a rational being, Dillon said. The United States government was no longer willing to work with Lumumba. The impression that was left was very bad. That this was an individual whom it was impossible to deal with. And the feelings of the government as a result of this sharpened very considerably at that time. Dillon added, we had hoped to see him and see what we could do to become, come to a better conclusion or a better understanding with him. But Dillon was in full agreement with Diels, who just a week earlier had compared Lumumba unfavorably to Castro. Lumumba's own priority at the meeting with Hatter and Dillon was altogether different from theirs. Lumumba wanted the US to help remove Belgian forces out of the Congo. The Congo, he insisted, does not wish to be exploited, and that if any conditions are attached to assistance, it will not be accepted. He said that the United States needs Congolese resources, such as uranium, and the Congo needs American products. He said he hoped the United States would use its influence with the Belgian government so that the latter might understand that his actions are contrary to his own best interests and contrary to the interest of the West in general. Prime Minister Lumumba did not meet with President Eisenhower. Kanza was informed that Eisenhower would be out of town at the time of Lumumba's visit to Washington, D.C. Kanza believed there were two reasons for this diplomatic refusal. The first was that while in New York, Lumumba had had two unofficial meetings with the Soviet Deputy Foreign Minister, Vasily Kuznetsov. The meeting was not in the least sensational, but Radio Moscow made a point of claiming that Lumumba had agreed during the meeting to visit Moscow. At the 2004 Wilson Center Conference on History of the Congo in 1960 to 1961, Kanza put forward another reasons for SHARIA's refusal to meet Lumumba. This reason, he said, emerged out of a meeting in July 1960 between Lumumba and a group of American businessmen in New York, which Kanza was there described in some detail in his 1972 book, Conflict in the Congo, The Rise and Fall of Lumumba. Lumumba was asked, what will you do after independence with old agreements signed by the Belgians? The exploitation of the mineral riches of the Congo, answered Lumumba, should be primarily for the profit of our own people and other Africans. Then one of those present, who was the head of a New York bank, asked him, do you know, for instance, that the Congolese uranium is sold in the United States as Belgian uranium, according to a legal and formal agreement between ourselves and Belgians? Kanza guessed what Lumumba would say and swiftly intervened in Lingala, warning him not to reply. But Lumumba's reaction to Kanza's advice was, why ever not? He replied to the American banker. He said, as I have said, Belgium won't have a monopoly in the Congo now. From now on, we are an independent and sovereign state. Belgium does not produce any uranium. It will be to the advantage of both our countries if the Congo and the US worked out their own agreements in the future. The Americans present noted Kanza, all of whom represented powerful financial interests, looked at one another and exchanged meaningful smiles. Later that evening, Kanza received a phone call from an advisor to SHARIA. Look, Mr. Kanza, he said, tell your prime minister that the president prefers to go and play golf than to meet Lumumba. On the 2nd of August 1960, Lumumba left the US to return home. It had been his first visit to the US, a nation he had admired and spoken about with such great enthusiasm because of his triumph over colonization and his achievement of self-determination. He had hoped that Americans would be neutral allies with the Congolese in their own struggle for freedom, but he came away deeply disillusioned. The visit had confirmed the US government's refusal to help end the Belgian military presence in the Congo. Far from feeling any sense of support, he was being increasingly criticized by the American media, which now pointed a finger at his use of a Soviet Lushin aircraft to fly to the US. This meant, they said, that he was a communist. In fact, the Congolese prime minister had made a request to the US State Department for the loan of an official airplane. The request had been approved by Ambassador Timberlake and also Ralph Bunche on behalf of the United Nations. But in the end, it was refused. The Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, Livingston T. Marchant, reported to Secretary of State Atta in a telephone conversation on the 21st of July that as far as he was concerned, there was nothing in it for us, and it would be more to our advantage if it came by Soviet plane. The memorandum of the conversation does not explain the nature of this advantage, but it was presumably the impression it would generate that Lumumba was pro-Soviet. With no other choice available, Lumumba had accepted the gifts of a plane from the Soviet Union. For this, Tom Brady of the New York Times took him to task. What was I to do? Lumumba responded indignantly. So now it is said that I am a communist, but judge for yourself what was more important, to be regarded a communist or to turn down an opportunity to go to the United Nations to defend our interests there. Judge for yourself, Lumumba said. For many people, in fact, air travel in the Congo at this time was not a straightforward choice of Soviet versus American. General Alexander himself had flown in a Soviet IL-18 from Ghana to the Congo and greatly enjoyed the experience. The Russian crew, he wrote warmly in his memoir, were the height of affability. When they crossed the equator, the pilot put on a beard, and I was regaled with Russian champagne and caviar. When he landed at Leopoldville, Alexander recalled with jovial pleasure, I was in frame of mind to undo any awkward situation. On his way back to the Congo from America, Lumumba paid a short visit to several African leaders. President Habib Bourguiba of Tunisia, King Mohammed V of Morocco, President William Tubman of Liberia, President Sékou Touré of Guinea, President Sylvanus Olympio of the tiny Republic of Togo, and Nkrumah for the second time within a fortnight. At every stop, it was shared by huge, enthusiastic crowds. All the leaders he met expressed their sympathy towards the Congo's difficulties, which were increasing rapidly. On the 8th of August, Albert Kalonji, following the path of Moise Tshombe in Katanga, announced the autonomy of South Kasai, Lumumba's home province. It was a region rich in diamonds, with heavy involvement by Western business interests, notably the Belgian company, which is Forminia is called, and the American firm Leon Tempusman and Son. So both companies were suspected of aiding and abetting the secession. Almost immediately, Kasai's diamonds were sent across the Congo River to Congo-Brazzaville, which promptly became the world's largest exporter of diamonds, even though it had no diamond mine of its own. At the time, Congo-Brazzaville was preparing for its own independence. The first president was Abe Forbart Yulo, who was described dismissively by the US Consul, Alan W. Lawkins, as a 5-foot excommunicated priest who walked around in Dior kaftans and was sort of ridiculed as a French puppet. Some of the African leaders visited by Lumumba pledged military support, should it become necessary, in order to remove Belgian troops and to end the secession of Katanga and Kasai. Thousands of Guineans reported Lumumba in a speech on his return to Leopoldville have volunteered to come serve in the Congo. The most important stop on Lumumba's tour was Ghana. Nkrumah marked Lumumba's visit with a speech to the Ghana National Assembly on the 8th of August. This is a turning point, began Ghana's president, in the history of Africa. Then he emphasized the importance of supporting the Congo. If we allow the independence of the Congo to be compromised in any way by the imperialist and capitalist forces, we shall expose the sovereignty and independence of all Africa to grave risk. The struggle of the Congo, he insisted, is therefore our struggle. It is incumbent on us to take our stand by our brothers in the Congo in the full knowledge that only Africa can fight for its destiny. For 2 days, Nkrumah and Lumumba talked together intently. They agreed to call a summit conference of independent African leaders from 25th to 30th of August in Leopoldville to consider the situation in the Congo. But the most important result of their discussion was a secret one: the signing of an accord for the union of Ghana and the Congo. It was a short document, but it presented a powerful vision of a possible future union of African states, which any state or territory in Africa could join. The union would have a republican constitution with a federal framework, a federal parliament, and a federal head of states. This government would be responsible for foreign affairs, defense, a common currency, and economic planning and development. There would be no customs barriers between any part of the federation. The capital of the union would be Leopoldville, which, argues one of Nkrumah's biographers, is a striking indication of Nkrumah's lack of personal ambition. Above all, it was an acknowledgement of the central importance of the Congo in Africa. The end. Thank you so much for listening. We will be going, that is the end of part 4, chapter 17, page, let's see, page 213 of the White Malice, the rise and the fall of Lumumba. That's where we're stopping, okay? So the next is going to be part 5. Hang on. No, part 6, rather. Part 6, which is going to start from chapter 18. So thank you so much for listening. And I do have a few clips, okay, that I kind of discovered could be useful to this chat. I'm going to put them on in another 1 or 2 minutes, okay? But until then, let me take a break. I'm coming back. Anyway, like I said, that's where we will draw the curtains on the reading, the first part, the second part. Now, the third part of this chart is the phone calls. You think you are up for that? Let's see. 1 second. Let me check the line. I saw a few people who were trying to kind of call in and get through earlier while I was reading, okay? Now, I'll leave, let me go check if the line is going to be connected enough that we can take calls, okay? So, give it a sec. Oh. Right. Now, the line is kind of free. I could take calls. That is for those of you who want to react to what has been said already. Or at the same time, we can also save time and do this maybe later in the evening. But okay, no, I said no. Now we need to take calls now. So react to this now for the next hour before we call it a day.
Hello, Baba.
First caller on the line. Hello.
Hello, Baba. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you, Baba?
I'm fine, thank you. Baba, first of all, let me just thank you for a great work. It's not been easy. It's not an easy job. But I'm beginning to conclude that the most difficult task in this world is just to educate we Nigerians, we that call ourselves Nigerians. Because the reason why I draw this very conclusion is that I think we go to school all over the world like this. Yeah, we just go there, sat down, read, get our certificate, first class, second class, whatever certificate. We just claim and we learn nothing. You read by Chinese Revolution, Russian Revolution, French Revolution, but we just sit down, we do nothing. We pray God should come and help us. In as much as you just, if like, I'm not, because I did not follow you from the beginning where the rise and fall of Patrick Lumumba, but the point you are citing from the Kenyans and the distance, I do listen. But you see Nigeria, they can never. They are the most weakest people. Forget all these ones who always make noise, do this one. We can't. We can't do anything. Rather, they will be telling you, hey, you that is in our overseas, come and join us so that we will fight together. This one, the other one, blah, blah. They can't do anything. Because I don't think any African country that will take the nonsense we have taken as a Nigerians. I don't think nobody will take that shit. So congratulations to Kenyans in advance who are willing to take their destiny in their hand. So if the other side like, let them continue. Let them continue sleeping. But I thank you for the work you are doing to just remind them, if they like, they should wake up. If they don't like, let them continue.
Sit down there.
But these people are the most, I don't want to use some kind of word that is not that good, but our people, most especially some of us that is in abroad here. Well, Baba, I'm still at work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For stopping by. It simply means that you are all kind of free to react to this your way, okay? And then it the nail on the head straight up. So I have another caller. Hello.
Oh, hello, sir, Mr. Mayegun. It's me, Older from Leeds. I'm lucky to get.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, I wasn't expecting to get through, but anyway, I just tried my luck.
It's quite like,
Yeah. Well, today there's not much. It's just, well, there's a lot, but it's just that it's not coming. But I thought maybe by the time I call you pick, it will be coming. It's just about this, the plan, with this, the other time you talk about the refinery that when exploded, and then this. About this, their ways.
You're talking about the refinery.
Yeah, but I know I don't really, to be honest, I'll prefer people not to talk much about it, or not to make noise about it too much, because it's a way of distracting people. Whatever it is that the government are doing in Nigeria, they are kind of buying time. They are buying themselves time distracting people, talk about something that is not really relevant. And by the time we know it, the time has already gone. Maybe 1 year or 18 months has passed. And then before you know, the electioneering period will come in. So, but instead of us to face the issue, Nigeria is lacking primary health care. Yeah, Nigeria is lacking basic things: water, good road. I want to imagine a Nigeria where all the roads are motorable, right? Automatically, things will be cheaper because commuters' transportation will be cheaper because there's no risk of the car breaking down because of a lot of pothole on the road, on the way, and agricultural produce we get to town easily, and then the patrol, the security institution like the police or whatever will be able to use their their little car they have, their newly bought cars, because recently I saw Wicked. I was telling them things like somebody like the father teaching children not to do something that is like, you don't use the car to do this, don't use the car to do that, things that really they're not really, because so private use, because if these people had paid enough money for all these security people, police or whatever, they will have their own cars. Because I remember them this when I was growing. I was about between in my primary school time towards my early years in the secondary school. We have teachers that they have loans. They were able to buy, they call one a Dazun or Toyota Salake. They call it Shalake, which is practically like it comes for nothing, and then they pay it, with time. They pay it off without any hassle. If that had been in place today in Nigeria, do you think all this, most of the people who hasn't got a car or who felt frustrated in Nigeria, will, yes. So instead, I think we should focus on the issues in Nigeria and then try as much that we preach the gospel of people refraining from being bigots, trying to all this politicians to use us to divert our attention from the major things. So I mean, what I've said, I hope you will be able to talk about it later on, and just to put hard more and then the importance of it. So the other day when I spoke about the LGBT whatever, if I think it is not that I'm trying to make it as like that or make it bad or good, because after all we are all human, and whatever it is that we choose to do, why can't we? Because if we are truly a democratical settings, we should actually somehow be compassionate, yes, with every
right.
So
the idea is like as long as you are humans, you have rights. So whether you are gay, straight, this or that, it shouldn't really matter if you break any law and in a way, or if you begin to highlight them out, is what I kind of don't like.
Yes, but before I go, but truly, if Tinubu is truly a politician who uses his brain, right? He shouldn't just let it just slide and sneak, this Western world, make it, to look enticing to him, of course, because he's so greedy, he wants to get the money. But instead of it, to look at the broader, the far from, to be foresighted, to say, look, this is not going to help Nigeria in any way, right? Because of course, no matter how you paint it, there's still people in Nigeria up to tomorrow. There's no amount of preaching that you want to make that they will still stigmatize it, especially from this northern area. So,
let me take
yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, please, everyone, I know it can be somehow, okay? If you are calling in, I would appreciate if you put your thought together and then we can really manage the time enough, It will help enough, okay? So here is another caller on the line. Hello there.
My good general.
Yes, sir. How are you, Baba?
Good afternoon. I'm good. It's Ferdinand calling from Newcastle.
Oh, that's Ferdinand. How are you doing today, Ferdinand?
Yeah. I'm good, Baba. I was off work today, so I tuned in this afternoon.
That's grand. So you're having some free day today. How is the weather in Newcastle?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, at least the sun is out. It's very nice. Like it's very normal. Yeah, it can change every time.
Even before you finish this phone,
yeah,
you look outside and be like,
oh, man,
it's not looking good again. So enjoy it.
That's one thing about the UK. Oh, the weather is very, very unpredictable, Mayegun. It can change anytime. So a quick one, Baba. I'll just go straight to the point. While you were doing your broadcast earlier on, you played a conversation that was going on Twitter.
I think
about this guy.
Somehow your voice just went off and then came back.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Now I can, yeah. Oh, you can continue.
Oh, yeah, I said earlier on today you were actually making a broadcast, and then you played them earlier on today. I mean, this broadcast when you started initially, you played one clip from the people having conversation online on Twitter.
Yes, Twitter.
And there was this tribal bigot who was blaming the Igbos for what happened. They trying to take over the Lagos and all that.
He's talking about Yoruba land.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Oh, okay. Trying to take over Yoruba land.
Yeah,
so
because somebody was posting the bad road about Ogun
State. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Igbos are not even involved in all of this, right? But rather than
exactly
the people behind it, they just
like
the Igbos. I was like, waiting concern Igbo in all of this, for God's sake, man.
Like, and Mayegu, do you know that the shocking thing about the whole stuff is that I immediately went on Twitter and checked this guy. His name he goes by the name Iceman. His profile picture is like a sword and kind of like, I don't know, it's like an X sign with a crown on top of it.
That's right.
And he wrote there a carnation.
That's what he said.
A carnation. And guess what, I googled a carnation. A carnation is a sub-Igbo region in Delta State. That guy that was saying that, he's actually an Igbo guy.
Ika?
If you trace him. Yeah.
See? I've been seeing all these arguments online.
A carnation. I mean,
and most of the people who are actually like
what he is. Look at what he look at what he wrote on his profile. On his profile, he put a picture here, a carnation, and he wrote Onu kukume obu efifi. I don't know what that means, but it sounds kind of like an Igbo, but with a different variation. You know, kind of like where you have a different kind of like a different dialect or something. You know, and this guy is actually Delta Igbo, and he's actually criticizing his own self like that. Like it reminds me of when 1-2 Emperor said that I did not even believe that. Like I actually witnessed that today with this broadcast you made, you know, with the clip you played. So how can a person hate a tribe or a nation that he is part of? Like,
you know, I said that too. I said there are self-hating Igbos.
Yeah. You and 1-2 Emperor repeated it. Yeah.
On themselves.
I'm telling you, like, so like the whole thing was very, very disgusting. Like,
my brother Ferdinand.
I can't really believe that. And then secondly, let's just go to the issue of the budget and what they've been doing with all this money they borrow and all that. Why is it that every every successive government in Nigeria keep on buying cars. Like all these cars they buy, where did they go? If another person comes in now, he will start buying cars. Like all these automobiles they are buying, what are they actually using it for? What happened to the old ones? And it's not really like their old ones, like a car that was bought by a previous administration 3, 4, 5 years ago can't be used again. Like, what is going on? Every time they keep buying cars, they keep buying security cars and sharing to the police and to the military, all for nothing. Like, it's just like it's a conduit pipe for embezzlement. It is a conduit pipe for embezzlement. And this really brings me down to what I actually want to say, because if these criminals who goes by the name distinguished, they like using that word distinguished. I don't know what really makes them distinguished about their character. Well, maybe because these guys are disgusting. These guys are disgusting. I'm telling you the honest truth. These guys are disgusting. Like you and I were in the UK, yeah, you saw how the transition of power shifted from conservative to Labour. There was no expenses, nothing. It was just pack the things, leave, another person packs, just like where an old tenant is living and then a new tenant is living, there was no ceremony about it, nothing. The whole process was just done smoothly, within 24 hours, everything has been concluded.
There's no this or that.
There's no committee, nothing. So these people keep, and they are not even learning any lesson from what is happening to their colleagues in Kenya. Look at what a senator was just ranting on the television, and I was imagining, like, who voted this fool? Like, that guy is not even supposed to be around the corridor of power, because first, he doesn't even have a manner of approach. He doesn't know that he's on live TV, and he doesn't know the rules of engagement, that when you say something, you allow the person who is interviewing you to ask you questions based on what you've said, and then you bring your rebuttals and try to, like, defend what you've said. He kept talking and going, trying to shut up the mouth of the guy who was doing the interview. And the guy was actually so embarrassed in a way. These are the kind of...
they will shout you down.
Yeah.
They won't answer the question straight until you are...
No, they won't answer it straight.
Just be like, you know what? Don't worry. Let me ask you another one.
Yeah. That is the
spokesperson for the Nigerian Senate.
Can you imagine that?
He's the spokesperson. He was the one who was supposed to answer all questions about the Senate. He's asking you go and do your findings, and then we can now come back and say if it's true or not. Man.
Exactly. Can you imagine such a character? And that brings me to my final point. These politicians feel that they are not accountable to the people, and that is exactly what they do. Because if you really feel accountable to the people, there is no way you will stay on a public platform like the television, be on an interview on live TV, and then somebody is asking you questions. Instead of you to defend whatever budget or whatever stuff you guys are doing in there, you are trying to play on the intelligence of over 200 million Nigerians or what? Because that's what they've been doing and going through. They don't really have that sense of accountability, because if there is accountability in the civil service or in the government, somebody cannot just come out and just make that statement and go scot-free like that. That's one of our problems with that. We have lack of accountability.
I know.
Yeah, and if we don't protest and stop that their national assembly, maybe probably state it at least, or like capture one or two of them and set an example, the rest won't even learn a lesson. No. Because we really need to bring what is happening in Kenya, bring it down to Nigeria and spread it across the whole of Africa. Thank you, man. That's my point. Thank you for the good job,
Ferdinand. Okay, for all of that. You see, one thing I've told people before is that even those of you don't think that there are not those who are also supporting the criminal politicians of Kenya, ready to mobilize themselves. But you know something, those of you who are supporting these Olori Brukus in Nigeria because of what you think you might get from them, right? You know what will happen when the whole revolution kicks up and starts? Those of you asking people that, why don't you come back home? We'll show you. Nothing will remove this, so that when the whole shit hit the fan, you will first be the sacrifice that people will use. And also, the rest of you, when they see that some of you are already being lynched and then taken care of, right? The rest of you will disappear. And those who are giving you money to defend them on social media, they will be running. They will be running. There will be nobody to give you money to come and defend them when the shit hit the fan. But for now, may everybody make their mouth. Consider this as us making mouth. Consider yourself as making mouth as well. Even when the casala burst, thiefnubu will run. But the only thing is that you are like, oh, you know, go happen. Not be this Niger. That's why you have the Mayegun's Diary Political. You can come back to all of this in a few months' time or even in a few years' time and say, well, if you still change your mind or if you are still keeping that same mind, it's going to happen. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, my good general.
Oh, the prince.
The
Prince
great
Judgment.
masquerade. The Kano Mike.
Yes, sir.
How about we here? This is Prince Judgment representing IPOB for life. Baba, it's a privilege to be on your channel this afternoon.
The all pleasure, you know, the pleasure is mine, Baba. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well done, Baba. Yeah, we'll continue to talk because they said talk and talk and bring leads to action. Okay, faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word. Okay, so Baba, as you are talking every day, being positive, you are building the faith and action in every one of us. Okay, and I want to encourage our people that do call. Don't talk down on Nigeria people. Don't talk down on Nigeria youth. Okay, nobody is happy. All right, and they did their best during NSAS to come out to mobilize, you know, but unfortunately, they didn't know that Nigeria is not a country. Okay, because if it's a country, they will see them as citizens, even with the flag that they are carrying up, singing national anthem. Nigerian army, who's supposed to defend them, you know, came out and start shooting like if they are at the war front. Okay, so one thing I want us to continue doing is continue to encourage this guy. Don't say they won't do anything, they won't do anything. As Mayegun is doing, he's also always positive here. Yes. And he has been winning many souls. He has been building faith in many people. And so if we continue to be positive to each other, yes, one day the fire will ignite. For people to react, you know. Okay, because we cannot continue being a slave in our own so-called country. It's not sustainable at all, you know. And if you look at what Mayego used to say, that these people, by their action, they will bring down Nigeria by their hand, by their own self. Not that you know, we will. In fact, it will be a little thing that Nigeria youth will do.
Because if it is about how we feel, Nigeria is not supposed to exist anymore by now, right?
Exactly.
It is about what they are doing that will break Nigeria, and people should watch it.
Sure. So, secondly, I want also our Nigerian youth and everybody not to be distracted. You see that when they started, they want to clamp on social media, but they found out one thing, that if you want to catch monkey, you behave like monkey. Now they are using social media to distract Nigerian youth. For instance, one of their latest tactics is talking about 2027, so that you will not focus in the hunger that they have using to terrorize everybody, and rise up and question them. Your mind will be, let's all mobilize. We are the obedient. Let's mobilize 2027. Let's stand behind the Obi. Will you be alive to 2027? That is what you ask yourself. With this way they are going, will I be alive till 2027? Okay? And some people that will be saying, they will kill you or you will do that. Are we alive? This way we are alive.
Even not killing us already. Because
even those that is Baba, even those that escape abroad, you are still in the quagmire, because the abroad that where you are is a beg to apply slavery. That's where you secondary slavery, and they deliberately, the Westerners deliberately make sure that they put criminal in where we are coming from, so that if our place is not conducive, if we run out, then the slavery will be willingly. Any condition they put us, any job they give us, we do with thanks, sir. You understand? Hoping that they are giving us best treatment.
At least.
So to me,
to where you are coming from, what they've turned the place into, you will take any conditions they push at you, as much as they will never put even a tiny bit of that towards their supposed, you know, it's always there.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So, and finally, this guy, Wike, that you see that if Nigeria is a country, it's supposed to be in jail. He is one of their poster boy that they are using to distract Nigerians. The other day, he was putting that jacket. I don't know if his grandson borrowed him to wear. Right. You know, Nigeria on social media, they are distracted about that, talking about how much the Versace is. And this guy is spending billions of naira building house for vice president, billions of naira. Now they are bribing judges by telling them they are going to build new. They have quarters, so where they are living, they are not paying, very good quarters. Now they want to build another brand new one for them. They said there is their retirement home. Why Nigerians are dying? How much are they mapping out? About almost 200 billion naira. We are not talking about million. They want to build house for judges to prepare them against you on 2027 coming. This is what they've started. They are not even talking about governance. It's about 2027. You understand? So let's begin to encourage ourselves. Any day they say, let's march out. Let everybody come out. If we come out in our millions anywhere we are, go home and abroad, my brother, things will happen. First we say things don't go happen. Things will happen. Even the police, the army, they are waiting for people to stand like the Kenya youth, Kenya Gen Z. That's what they are expecting you. Stand. You understand? Not that things, they don't go, if 1 or 2 persons, they don't go scratch 1 or 2 persons. But if you do that sacrifice and make things happen, my brother, it will be for our children and our children's children. That's because right. In Nigeria, nobody is a citizen. Mayegu, continue speaking your positive way. God will continue to help you. And we are behind you. We'll continue to do our little in our little corner. God bless you.
Man. Thank you so much, Prince Jeje Man. And thanks to every one of us as well on the platform this afternoon. Let's go get ready for the evening. Let's go mop up the real and the what do you call it? Some real convo stories that will continue to help feed our consciousness, our subconsciousness as well, when we are dealing with these rogues, as we are dealing with them. Information is power, they say. And if you know better, the ideal thing is for you to do better. You know better, you do better. Now, if you do know better, I expect you to do better. I will see you later this evening. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, okay? And good afternoon. See you later.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary, Mayegun #1. Mayegun Diary, Diary politico. Mayegun Diary. gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wá. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wá. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Òwúrọ̀ olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Ayé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. Ha! Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni. Mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni. Ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni. Ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́. Ó ti dọba lórí abínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o. Ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.